The basic idea of global warming, also known as climate change, has been widely debated and criticized. Global warming is basically the warming of the environment caused by humans through emissions of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases. There are many skeptics out there that deny the very foundation or possibility of the existence of global warming, as well as many who hold a strong belief that this is a serious issue that does in fact exist and needs to be taken care of. Upon analysis, we have come to the conclusion that climate change is in fact real, and that all should be cautious about what the future may hold. Do you think global warming is caused by humans, or do you think it's just a natural course of nature?
It's definitely human cause. If you look at the data that we have, you can see that carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases have been increasing rapidly since the Industrial Revolution, and most rapidly since the 1970s. And the data suggests that it is definitely human caused.
According to the University Corporation for Atmospheric Research, the gradual increase in temperature, 2 degrees Fahrenheit, within the last 50 years can change the ecosystem how we know it. The Wall Street Journal published an article in late July of 2012, the headline reading, "Rapid Ice Melt Baffles Scientists." The subject of this journal pertained to Greenland, where a huge amount of ice melted across the whole land. Scientists started to worry and analyze the facts about what will happen if the ice continues to melt at the rapid rate that it is. The fate of many major cities such as Mumbai, New York, and Miami are at the hands of the ice melt. As ice melts, water levels will rise, which could flood the flourishing streets of these cities. However, this isn't the only major effect of climate change. Weather is also being affected at a rapid and ever-growing rate.
We know that temperature will increase worldwide, but how that plays out in terms of the impacts on increased probability of storm events, like we see with Hurricane Sandy, a year after Hurricane Irene on the East Coast, we are likely to see an increase in storm events in certain areas of the world, but we're also likely to see increased drought events, particularly in the southwestern United States, in parts of China, where we have the breadbasket of China. We're likely to see increased drought events there.
There's one startling fact that is most surprising: the effect of climate change on weather. Within the past 6 years, there have been 2 of the worst storms in history. One is wreaking havoc right now on the eastern coast of the United States. Hurricane Sandy is what has been named. It has already tore through Cuba and Florida, destroying homes and killing several. This is very alarming for who knows what the result could be in cities like New York, Manhattan, and all the other major states that reside in that area. The other notable storm that has taken place is Hurricane Katrina, which formed on August 23, 2005 and dissipated on August 30, 2005, which is according to the National Weather Service. It hit the Gulf Coast and sadly killed 1,833 people. It leaves one to wonder, how could weather so devastating occur in such a close period of time? This is not to mention the severe droughts and other weather incidences that have occurred. This year in Colorado, it seems as though each season appears 1 month earlier. Could this too be an effect of climate change? How do you think it'll affect everyone on planet Earth?
I think we're seeing it affecting us already. I think we will, as I said, the likelihood of more severe weather events like hurricanes, flood events, drought events will be more frequent and more intense over time, and that will affect our economies. It's costly to recover from those types of events. It will affect our agricultural production, so how much food we can grow and where we can grow it. We've already seen, due to the drought that we had this summer, a tremendous impact on the agricultural productivity throughout much of the Midwestern United States and the Intermountain West. And I think those types of impacts on our livelihoods, on our economy, on our infrastructure, on our homes, and our communities will continue.
In the 1950s, it was feared that there would be another ice age, an era in which the world would become colder. Surprisingly, the world did the reverse and temperatures skyrocketed. Just this past summer, it was said to be the hottest summer on planet Earth in quite a long time. Within the last 50 years, our technology has been improved tremendously, and the population of the world has risen to an astonishing 7 billion. With this comes the excessive need for more cars, homes, and electricity. Cars emit carbon dioxide, and electricity is derived from burning fossil fuels mostly, causing pollution.
We still don't know to some extent how species will adapt and whether or not they will be able to sustain how they live. So it's not just a human problem, it's a problem for everything that lives on this planet, and we're all interrelated, and that's the tricky part about how we're going to deal with the effects.
According to National Geographic magazine, global warming is not only affecting the environment around us, it is also affecting every person on Earth. It is apparent that food prices have dramatically risen within the past years, the cause of which being that the conditions to grow the food have changed. Now it's either areas are experiencing droughts or they are seeing floods due to high increased levels of moisture within the air. A recent study by Stanford University stated that globally 5% of the world's wheat production has been reduced due to an unstable climate. What could that mean for the future? If climate change develops so rapidly, our future looks bleak. All productions of different crops will dramatically lower, throwing our world off balance, creating issues with the development and maintaining of meat and crops.
So, what is your view on climate change?
My view, I've expressed to you already that I think it's definitely human caused, that we will have very severe and costly effects from it, but that I also think we have waited a bit too long to really mitigate the effects of climate change, and that we may be perhaps beyond the point where we can turn back the clock. And I think most important now is to continue thinking about ways we can mitigate and prevent our climate from getting even warmer, but to also be prepared for how we're going to adapt to climate change. If we were to really be able to address climate change, we have to make such drastic changes and invest much more quickly than we are in those types of technologies, and really fundamentally change the way we behave as human beings, from driving our cars to using our electronics to producing the oil and gas that we need to run our economies. From the research I've seen, it could take decades or more, and there's it requires substantial investment. So you'd have to look at, well, under the path that we're doing now, if we're reducing our greenhouse gas emissions even by say 5 to 10% over the next 20 years, that could still take us many decades to reverse the effects.